Hello folks, Everchanger here, and welcome back to more Pokemon Blaze Black 2. Last time, we faced off against N for the final time, and we also went over the teams of his that we are not going to see. This time, we are back here in Alton City because we got that permit from, who was it? Professor Juniper, yeah, that's who it was. And I would like to make use of it. This is a feature that I don't believe I've ever made use of in a personal playthrough, and I'm not entirely sure where we go to redeem it. Is it in here? Ah, I think it is. Oh, that's a permit. That lets you enter the nature preserve, which is far, far away from the Unova region. Would you like to go to the nature preserve yet? Then, yes. I can English. Yes. Okay, we will contact Skyla, so please board the plane and wait. And this is basically the same thing that we went through when going up to Lentimus Town, except it's going to take us somewhere a little bit different. And here we are in the Nature Preserve, which is an area that does not appear anywhere on the town map. If we check out our map, we are not on it, which I think is a really, really neat little detail. So yes, this is one final area for us to explore. It's decently large, and there are a few Pokemon that I would like to catch in this area. To be specific, there are 8. One of which being that one right there, but we're going to be doing that not in this episode, but a bit later on, actually. Just gonna, casually ignore that that's there. Oh boy, that one's going to be an interesting one. But yes, there are 8 Pokemon that I would like to catch in this area. I hear Shaking Grass. Can it be something new? Unfortunately, it was not. There are 4 Pokemon that I want to catch in the Shaking Grass specifically, which I'm a little bit nervous for, but the nice thing about it is those are the last Pokemon that we are going to be catching in the entire LP in the Shaking Grass. That is something I am very excited for, just because honestly I liked the mechanic before, but for completionists like me, I'm starting to really not like the mechanic as much. You will notice that I have Surf equipped on Gastrodon still. I did reshuffle around the moves on our team a little bit, but I kept Surf and Waterfall. And the reason I kept Waterfall is because there is this waterfall right here that we do need to navigate, so I just equipped our team members with it. Unfortunately, I do not want to do what's up on top of this waterfall quite yet, although I will be going over it this episode. I can promise you that. And really, this area only goes around here? Wow, it's a little bit smaller than I remember, actually. Kind of interesting. Anyway, let's wrap right back around. And let's see if there is anything else for us to explore. It looks like we can surf around that lake if we go the right way. So let's see if we can manage to get around there and make that happen. I'm surprised. This area is actually a lot smaller than I imagined it would be, but I mean, I'm okay with that. I'm cool with it. Alright, so it looks like we can surf across this pond right here to the Doubles Grass. There's a couple of Pokemon that I do want to catch in this Doubles Grass, but I think that is actually everything to explore in this area. So I guess I should probably move on and try and catch some Pokemon, because I'd like to get that out of the way real quick. There are 2 in the normal grass, 2 in the Doubles Grass, and 4 in the Shaking Grass that I'd like to take care of. Hopefully that goes quick. I'm recording this video a little bit later than I would have hoped, mainly because of some inclement weather outside, so let's hope this can go by without a hitch. Oh wow, very first thing, right here we have Pignite. So if you are in the market for Unova starters, but you cannot seem to find them in hidden grottos, that's because they are not there. They are in fact in this area, so let's try and catch them. There we go, Pignite was caught. Very good. Alrighty. The more it eats, the more fuel it has to make the fire in its stomach stronger. This fills it with even more power. Very nice, very good stuff. Alright, one more Pokemon to get in the normal grass right here. Let's see if we can make it happen. Alrighty, here we have the other Unova starter, Duat. You can also find Servine in this area if you did not start with Snivy. However, I did, so I already have one. Anyway, let's catch it, and this is the last Pokemon we are going to be catching in the normal grass in the entire LP, so be sure to enjoy this one extra special. And we get it in one shot. Awesome! Alrighty. Add that data to our Pokedex. As a result of strict training, each Duat learns different forms for using the Scalchops. Very nice. Personally, out of all the Unova starters, I think Duat is my favorite. Across all the evolutionary stages, probably my favorite. Anyway, with that, I would like to move on to the Doubles Grass, because there are a couple of Pokemon that I would like to catch in there, so let's get right onto it. Alright, first up we have Espeon, which is one of two Eevee evolutions that I do not yet have. One thing worth noting, since it's becoming apparent right here, is I have indeed trained the entire team to level 100 in between episodes. That is because catching Pokemon is not all I would like to do in this video. Keen-eyed viewers might already know what we are going to be going after in this video. So yeah, just worth pointing out that that is something we are going to be doing. And I'm really tripping over my words right here, it's kind of crazy. Alright, so, with that, let us try and catch that Espeon. Nice, one throw. I really like it when we catch stuff in one throw, could you tell? Its fur is so sensitive it can feel minute shifts in the air and predict the weather, and its foes' thoughts. Interesting. There we have the Sun Pokemon, Pokemon Sun Hype. You can probably guess what type of hype we're going to be going after next. Yep, indeed it is Umbreon, and I actually got two of them to show up at once right here, which is pretty amusing. One of them is level 92, and that allows me to explain that most, if not all, of the Pokemon you find in this area can have some ridiculous levels, anywhere between 1 and 100. It's kinda crazy. In fact, off-screen I ran into a level 100 Pignite. Not really sure how useful that would be, but figured it was a funny little amusing anecdote. Anyway, I hope we can take this guy out in one hit. Oh wow, that wasn't even close. Alright, well I guess we'll switch Garchomp out for somebody, and then we are going to use Brick Break on that Umbreon right there. And you better make sure to enjoy this capture as well, because indeed Umbreon is the last Pokemon in the entire LP that we are going to be catching out of Doubles Grass, and wow, it still took that like a champion. Alright, I guess we'll work with it. Switch Gastrodon back in, and let's finally take out that Umbreon. I'm mainly taking out the higher leveled one just because the lower level one is going to be easier for us to catch. Really no other reason than that. Pretty simple stuff. Anyway, now that it is down, we can head into our bag and attempt to catch it. And there we go, Umbreon was caught, completing the evolutionary line of Eevee. That's a big one. When exposed to the moon's aura, the rings on its body glow faintly, and it's filled with a mysterious power. Umbreon's probably up there as one of my favorite evolutions. I just think it has a really, really cool design. Anyway, with that, that only remains the 4 Pokemon left for us to catch in the Shaken Grass. That's going to be a trial, so I am going to get started on that. Alrighty, first up is actually Blissey, which is not the first one I expected to show up, but I will definitely take it. This one's famous for being a good way to grind experience, however I don't want to KO it. In fact, I want to catch it, so let's do that. Okay, so as you can probably tell, the lag problem has reared its ugly head in this fight. This thing is so rare, however, that I'm going to keep this footage anyway, because at this point, screw it. The eggs it lays are filled with happiness. Eating even one bite will bring a smile to anyone. Alright, very nice. What is not very nice is this emulator. Oh my god. Alright, 1 down, 3 to go. Alrighty, next up is Emboar. So you're probably seeing a pattern with these last couple of captures. This is the evolved form of Pig Knight, which we also caught in this video. Let's not waste any time, let's catch it. Now that's what I like to see, a one-throw wonder on an Emboar. That's not something you see every day, really. A flaring beard of fire is proof that it is fired up. Nice pun there. It is adept at using many different moves. The Mega Fire Pig Pokemon. Okay, what happens when we give this thing a Mega Evolution in a couple generations? Oh well. Anyway, only 2 more to go. Let's do it. Alrighty, next up is Samurott, which is probably my personal favorite out of the 3 final Unova starters, although it does divert quite a bit when it evolves from Duat. Anyway, let's catch this thing. And there we go, Samurott was caught. Very, very nice. In the time it takes a foe to blink, it can draw and sheathe the scimitars attached to its front legs. I feel like they're just making up words at this point. Anyway, with that, there is only 1 more Shaking Grass Pokemon left in the entire LP. Let's find it. I'm realizing that any moment now we're going to be seeing the last Audino we're ever going to see in the entire series. Man, that is an empowering thought. Aha, here it is. The last one, the last Shaking Grass Pokemon, and in fact, the last Pokemon that we are going to be catching in the wild, period, not counting Hidden Grottos or Legendaries. Here we have Serperior, the final form of Snivy, the Pokemon that we started with, but did not actually train to fruition. Lots of hard words there. Ay ay ay. Anyway, I really don't want to waste any time going after this thing, so I think we're just going to be chucking the balls and then catching it. And yes, I do realize we just had a critical capture quick ball fail. The game had to kick me while I was down just 1 more time before it was all over. There it is. Serperior was caught. The last Shaking Grass Pokemon. You have no idea how good that feels. I've cut out so much footage searching for Pokemon found in the Shaking Grass. It's crazy. It only gives its all against strong opponents who are not fazed by the glare from Serperior's noble eyes. Oh man. End of an era right there, seriously. Anyway, now that we have done that, I am going to sure as heck save the game, and then I'm going to run back to Miss Stralton and heal for the main thing in this episode that I'm sure most of you are here for. So I'm going to go do that, and I will be right back. But anyway, with all that capturing out of the way, it is time to move on to the main event. Standing to my right, your left, we have this guy. This is an optional boss fight that was added in Pokemon Blaze Black 2. Here we have Pokemon Trainer Hilbert, one of the heroes from 2 years ago, who faced off against N. Technically, in the canon, there's only one, but when you think about it, there's a boy and a girl, so we're going to have a second fight in this video afterwards, and I guess just to prevent any sort of bias, they just decided to throw in both, which I'm completely okay with. I really like how they gave Hilbert Reshiram, because that's the way it was in the manga in Pokemon Adventures. The character of Black, who was the male character from Black and White, used Reshiram near the climax of the story. So I think it's really fitting how Reshiram got donned by him here. Anyway, as you can see, this is the reason I wanted to train up our team to level 100, because his team is insane. Reshiram is level 100, and everything else on his team is in the high 90s. So I trained everyone up pretty much specifically for this boss fight. It might become a little bit of a curb stomp, but to be honest, it doesn't really matter to me at this point, just because we've been doing so many optional boss fights. And I feel like this one's more like a novelty than anything else, because if you're going to want to fight this guy, you're probably going to be up near level 100 anyway. I figured I might as well just make it final, because having a full team of level 100s, that is a really, really, really awesome feeling. I doubt there are many Pokemon LPs out there where the LPer got all of their Pokemon up to level 100, and I'll admit, it's something that I very rarely do on my own personal time anyway, so it's really fun to have a whole team of level 100s walking around here. It is worth noting, I did use the 4 rare candies that I had accumulated since the last time I had grinded up levels, just to make things a little bit easier on myself, because aside from this boss fight, the only other boss fights around are like the low 90s, mid 80s range. So the going did get a little bit slow. Oh my god, it's a Zoroark! I didn't even pick up on that, wow. Okay. I didn't really realize, because pretty much everything in its mother can learn Grass Knot anyway. Wow, it actually had me. I'm very impressed with that, actually. Alright, so let's actually Earthquake this Volcarona and not some imposter. That's really cool. I don't really get fooled by Zoroark that often, and it's kind of unfortunate, because if you're ever in an online battle, the game will pretty much tell you your opponent has a Zoroark on their team, because it will show in the team preview, so you really only ever get fooled by them in single player, but even then it's pretty obvious when something spits out, say, Dark Pulse, and you really don't expect it, but that one was pretty clever. I don't know if Volcarona can actually learn Grass Knot, but I feel like so much stuff is capable of learning it that it's pretty understandable that I didn't really pick up on that. And wowee, that does a lot of damage. Anyway, gonna Earthquake once again, bring down this Volcarona. And I'm actually not sure what's up next. A Musharna, that is pretty interesting. I think we'll switch over to Mandimas for this one. And man oh man, it's just really nice having everyone at level 100. That's just the kind of thing where you sit back and you look at your team and you're like, man, we made it. We got everyone up to level 100. That's not something that very many people can say. Anyway, this Musharna is already his last Pokemon, which is pretty interesting. I'm kind of disappointed that this character did not have an Emboar or a Braviary, because I'm just a real sucker for the manga. But at least he has a Musharna, so I guess we just sort of gotta work with it. Anyway, it's gonna heal up its leftovers. Wow, this thing has a decent amount more bulk than I would have thought. Anyway, let's hit it a couple more times probably. It might take 2 or 3 more hits, unless we get a critical. Oh, no. Okay, it has Moonlight, which is unfortunate. Now, I'll be honest, I don't know if Moonlight actually works better at nighttime. I'd assume it does, because I think Morning Sun works better in the daytime? I don't know, I might actually be wrong about that, but it's pretty interesting to think about. There are some moves where you'd think they work better in the daytime, but they don't, like Sunny Day. Because in Japanese, Sunny Day is just called clear skies, so it works regardless of whether it's day or night, as long as the sky is clear out. Just an odd little translational quip right there. Anyway, this thing is really taking a beating from me, wowee. Alright, hopefully we can get a critical or a high roll on the damage, but I'm not sure if it's gonna happen. Yeah. Alright, we're gonna take a charge beam right there, but if we get knocked out, we should be able to pull out something faster and then bring it down before it has the chance to pull out Moonlight. Which should definitely be on our priorities list. Alright, we got one more heal of the leftovers. Who's gonna get the final shot? We'll do Garchomp just because speed is really key here, so sending out someone like Gastrodon probably wouldn't work out all that well. So let's try Shadow Claw. Nice. Critical hit for good measure, and with that we have defeated Pokemon Trainer Hilbert. And once again, he is a man of few words. Anyway, now that we have done that, there is one more boss fight I would like to take out in this video, so I'm going to run back and heal once again, and I will meet you guys back here so we can do that. Alrighty, now that we have done that, we have one more optional boss fight in this area that I would like to take care of, and you can probably guess who it is. Here we have Pokemon Trainer Hilda, and I just now realized that Hilda is the name of the Lorulian princess in A Link Between Worlds, which is a funny little coinky-dink. But anyway, I'm really glad that they decided to put both the male and female playable character from Black and White into this hack. I always thought it was really weird how no matter what you did, in Heart Gold and Soul Silver, the female character from Fire Red and Leaf Green was nowhere to be found. I just thought that was a little bit odd, although I suppose Red is a very iconic character and they wanted to keep that feeling about them, I suppose. Anyway, this fight is already proving to be more difficult than the last one because we just got one-shot by that Zekrom before we were able to take it out. Mainly because it was packing an air balloon, which is a little unfortunate for us. Anyway, let's see if we can bring it down with a Dragon Pulse right here. I'm not entirely positive if we can, but if we could, that would be amazing. Nice. Zekrom is definitely the main threat on Hilda's team because it is, as you might imagine, level 100, and level 100, you don't want to mess with that. Anyway, right here we have a Volcarona, although I have to wonder if it's another Zoroark. I didn't take a look at the teams for these boss fights beforehand, mainly because it's pretty interesting to see if we might be able to get tricked, just like we did there. Same exact strategy as Hilbert, which I guess is a little bit unfortunate. But anyway, now out comes the real Volcarona. And I do have to say, I feel like it's kind of unfortunate how Zoroark has pretty bad defenses, because usually, more often than not, you're going to wind up one-shotting it, even if you don't hit it with a super effective move. Like, I went for Earthquake right there, because Volcarona is weak against it, but it one-shot Zoroark anyway, so it wound up not really mattering in the long run, which I found really unfortunate. I feel like if they were to give another Pokemon illusion down the line, I would really like it to be more on the defensive side, just so it could actually survive after its illusion breaks, because more often than not, I just wind up one-shotting Zoroark in disguise, so it really it doesn't really make for that much fun, because they're not on the field for very long. Plus there's the fact that I just like Zoroark's design, and it just pops out in disguise, and then we knock it out immediately. We see it for about 2 seconds, and then it's just gone. I don't know, I feel like Zoroark could use some defensive power just because I really like seeing it on the field in its neutral form. Anyway, I will be very, very surprised if this doesn't KO it. And it's kind of unfortunate. I guess Emboar kind of got the shaft in terms of big bad boss fights, and we got the burn right there, so I guess that Focus Sash really doesn't do too terribly much. So yeah, it's kind of unfortunate that Emboar doesn't really get its moment in the spotlight in a boss fight like this. But I guess we sort of balanced it out because our rival actually used Emboar throughout the LP, so not too terribly bad anyway. Alright, Caracosta coming out next. I really do like how they distributed the fossil Pokemon to these guys too. Hilbert had Archeops, which is my personal favorite of the two. And then Hilda gets Caracosta, which is also a really good design. And one thing that's pretty interesting that I'm not sure if I mentioned back when we first saw this, is that the Tortuga family does seem to be based on a beta Pokemon design from way back when Gold and Silver were in development. If you go look at some of the beta Pokemon that never actually made it into the release version, one of them looks very similar to Tortuga, which I think is really interesting. Anyway, I think we have a heal coming out right here. Indeed we do. Little bit unfortunate, but I guess we're just going to have to roll with it. And also, unfortunately, is this thing has Sturdy, which means Sturdy doesn't really get used up like the way a Focus Sash does. So we're just going to have to let it roll down there again. Got Sturdy again, and then can we get the Quick Claw? We can! Nice! Honestly, Smogon doesn't recommend the Quick Claw on anything because it's random, which I guess is understandable, but honestly, I've had a lot of clutch moments with the Quick Claw in this LP, so I'm pretty happy that we decided to go in that direction. I'm going to try something a little bit different with this Musharna this time because it looks like their teams are very similar. Little unfortunate, but I guess it makes sense why they would do that. I'm going to send out Victini and see how much a U-turn is going to do because it is super effective and we do have the Expert Belt equipped. So let's see how much that does. About half, that's pretty respectable. And I think with that we are going to send Mandibuzz back in to hopefully clean this up. It's probably going to use Moonlight or something dumb. Okay, good, it didn't, and luckily we should resist that, and we take very little damage. Less than 40, actually. Nice. Alright, so it looks like it's got the leftovers coming out, which is unfortunate. Oh wait, no, Mandibuzz has U-turn too. But Dark Pulse has Stab, so it's probably the better choice. Although, to be fair, I don't remember which of Musharna's defenses is actually higher. Oh wow, we got a critical, so I guess it didn't even matter. Nice. And with that, we have defeated Hilda. I think it's really cool they put the ancient, well not ancient, well if 2 years is ancient, they put the heroes of Unova from Black and White into this game. That's one of the major shortcomings that I feel like, it's just a big complaint that I have with the original Black and White 2 before the hack was applied, that just, there was no red moment. And I really wanted a red moment. Anyway, it's a hop, skip, and a jump by my plane. Want to go back to Alton City? Yes, indeed. Say goodbye to the Nature Preserve, because this is all of the time we are going to be spending here during the LP. Almost. Okay, let's hit the runway. No animation or anything like that. We're just plunk right back in Alton City, which honestly I'm pretty okay with because we spent quite a bit of time over in the Nature Preserve catching Pokemon and fighting trainers. But anyway, with that all out of the way, I think we are going to end things off here. So, this past episode of Pokemon Blaze Black 2, we completely wrapped up the conventional capturing of wild Pokemon. All the Pokemon we have to capture from this point forward are captured in some sort of special different way than just regular encountering in the wild. And we also faced off against the heroes of Unova, Hilbert and Hilda, the strongest super bosses in this game. Unless you count a certain other trainer, which we will be going over at a later point. And next time on Pokemon Blaze Black 2, we are going to begin yet another tour around the Unova region to capture every remaining legendary Pokemon that we have yet to obtain. So without further ado, thank you all for watching, and I will see you guys next time.